Hello Studio 903 designers, let's get started. Today I want to demonstrate for you some logo techniques for your personal brand logo design. This is where I landed with mine. I have a combination style logo where my symbol is like a monogram of my initials, LLJ for Laura Lee Giuliano, and you can see my name is there as the text, making it a combination logo. So let's start over here on this page with some techniques. Here I started with text. This is the typeface is Anton, and this right here is Lobster 2. I think I ended up going with a different J for these down here. You can experiment and find something that you like. There's another version. Just choose something that you like, okay? It's always a good idea to start with text. Once I had the text selected that I knew I wanted to use, I kind of thought about my configuration, and I had already done sketches, right? So I converted that text to a path. That's pretty simple. I'm just going to drag the copy down here so you can see. If you click on the letter and up here in the toolbar, you convert to a path. It changes that text to a shape, and now I can change the color. Okay, so here I converted the text to a path. Then I change the color, and then I can rotate, resize, and position it. So I can make a second copy of it. I can rotate it. I can think about how I want those two things to lock up. Let's change the colors to something like this. Let's do the same thing for this letter J. I'm just clicking Option and drag to make a copy of it. I'll convert it to a path. Now I'll change it to a color, maybe adjust it slightly, and line it up, okay? So here I experimented with color, I experimented with line weight and different fonts. I decided maybe I didn't like that J, maybe I wanted something different. And I think about the position. I was able to actually squeeze down these L's a little bit. And I think if I went in here a little bit closer, maybe I wanted the line weight of the L to be a little thicker and shorter, but I want, with the subselect tool, this to be a little bit wider, so I just made that a little bit thicker. Okay, so you can go in and adjust your text, which has now been converted to a path, in lots of different ways. And then the final step down here, once I was happy with colors, was to place my name, to choose a really nice font that complemented the rest of the symbol. And this font maybe would be one of the typefaces in my style guide for primary or secondary typeface. You can experiment with placement of text. Here I have it underneath, kind of like a pedestal. Here I have a different font. This is Bubbler 1, and I have it running up the side of my symbol of my L. Let's look at this option. This is a little bit different technique. This, again, we would start with text. This is a letter I and a letter M. Both letters are Bulby 1. And then I took them and converted them to a path. So again, I'll just make a copy of that so you guys can see. And then I'm going to use the Convert to Path tool up here, converted them to a path. Once they're converted to a path, I can split the path, modify path, split path. And that allows me to swap out the colors. Once you convert them to a path and then split the path, you can actually work on them individually. So here, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that rectangular shape on the eye, and I'm going to swap it out with a circle. So I'll just draw a new shape, right? So now I have completely customized my I and my M. Further, I can change the colors, and I can experiment with size and position. Maybe I want that I, let's select both of these, to be a little bit smaller so that they're both the same size and height as the M. And then here, even further, I can resize and reposition the elements, and I can use the Pathfinder tool to create different effects. This one is using difference. Then I would add my name. So let's just take this as the example, and let me show you what it looks like when I do that. So I want to maybe overlap these two pieces with this, line them up right there. Then I select everything. And with the Pathfinder tool, I choose difference. and I get this really cool effect. And then from here, I can adjust my colors further as well. This is going to be for this fictional character, Indigo Montez design. So finally, I brought it down here. I changed the color to an indigo color, and then I added the text for the name, making it a combination logo. All right, let's look at another technique. Here's another technique. We're creating a ligature here. All right, so here, once again, I started with text, but in this case, I've got two different fonts. This is Bonbon, and this is Brawler. So I'm going to start with those two different fonts because I like the way that they look, but I want my J to kind of connect with my W. So we'll make a copy of those and convert to a path, and then I can change to colors. So let's just make a copy of that so you can see I converted them to a path. Now they're no longer text, they are objects. Once I did that, I can resize the letters as I want to. Reposition, resize, change the colors, gray color for that. Then down here, I can reposition and resize and use Pathfinder to merge them. So here, maybe I want them to lock up like that together. Maybe that's where I stop. But if I wanted to create a whole unit, maybe I'll make my W slightly bigger so that the top of the J sits nicely in that little swoop. And then if I take those two things and use the Pathfinder, I can actually merge them together to create a single shape, a single ligature. Click Union, and that unites both of them. And if I actually converted the whole thing to a path, now I have one piece. That's a new symbol ligature, and I could change the color to do whatever I want it to, and then here I would add text. When you add the text for your name, you really want to think about the position that you put it in. It really needs to feel like it works with the logo symbol. You can, here I've got it kind of lined up with this bottom of the J. It made sense to me here, but good places to put them. You can use it like a pedestal. In this case, I feel like it's stronger right here. All right, so really think about your text. Choose a font that works really well. This J in Jones, and Welton Jones, the name, is the same. This is Brawler, which is the same text that I used for the J. So there's continuity as well there with the text in my actual symbol and the text of the word mark of my name. Don't let your name be an afterthought. Really think about it intentionally. All right, and then let's go here to this page for another technique. So once again, you can start with text. For this, I wanted something that looked like my signature or looked like my initials. So I chose this text dancing script, but my particular initials are a little bit more upright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transform this using the transformation panel. I think I might have to convert it to a path first. Then I can click on transform. And I'm going to skew the letters so that they stand up more straight rather than at an angle. So I'm going to skew them 15, let's go to 20% or 20 degrees, and I'll click apply, and you'll see how they stand straight up like that. So once I've done that, then I can scale them. The whole thing is converted to a path already. I want to manipulate the individual points and anchor points on the shape. So see how many there are when I go to the sub-select tool? I want to maybe change the color. Okay, I could add color to it, and then I could use the sub-select and the pen tool to adjust, add, and delete anchor points. How do I do that? I'm in the sub-select tool, and these are points right here, so I could just pull this out if I wanted to. And maybe I wanted to delete one of these points over here. So I think if I go to the pen tool and I click on a point that I don't want, it will delete, delete, delete. Or I could use the joint style to adjust the appearance to make those smoother if I wanted to. So if I click here, I can see my joint options here, and I could smooth those out a little bit. I'm going to delete some of these with the pen tool. Hover over them, minus, 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 minus. I think I needed that last one. But this joint, I maybe want to make it a little bit smoother. So I could adjust my joints that way by changing the handles to arrive at something like this. And then you would add your text. So those are some techniques. Let's look at them all together. That's where I started. We talked about how to create the logo using text and converting to a path, and experimenting with colors using the Pathfinder tool to make the difference between your two objects or to merge them together, or in this case using transform to scale and skew to then add additional anchor points and pull out certain things in your design to make them a little bit different and unique for you. Hopefully this has been helpful.